Hey everybody, thank you so much for zooming in for our week 6 summer sprint Zoom call. I am absolutely loving this group. I'm loving the fire. I'm loving the momentum. And I want to first kind of introduce this team to our guest speakers so that they're kind of caught up in who you guys are and what they can really focus on tonight. But Jenny, Elo, and I got together right after Top Achievers and said, let's grab a couple people, that are just fired up, really dialed in, that want to sprint. Basically, through celebration, they all set goals that they wanted to rank advance other people. No excuses, no ifs, ands, or buts, that they were going to put the, pedal to the metal and just fly these 8 weeks. And so we had a couple people that just rank advanced to Crystal Executive for the reset. We're so excited about that. And just a couple others that are really, really trying to dial in their goals and get fired up and just kind of not take any of the stuff about it being slow in the summer and just stay focused and doing the do every single day. And so ladies, after I, introduce you, because some of them hopefully know who you are, but some that do not, and I want them to be aware of just these powerhouse women that are on the call, who are great friends of mine and just some of the most inspirational, Christian loving, kind-hearted people you're ever going to meet in the entire world. Just know that whatever you have to share with them, they are grateful to have. It's a no filtered. You can offer your tough love. You can, pour from the greatness that you have. But this is a higher level leadership training. It's not beginners. We don't have associates just trying to go consultant. These are people that really kind of get it and they're really ready to go fast. So we encourage you to challenge them, to push them, and to really stretch them. And you guys, I've got to cheat right now and read a little bit of these bios because I don't want to miss anything. And I really want you to know how lucky you are to get both these gals. Literally just a couple minutes ago, Tanya texted me a selfie of them and said, look who's next to me. And I was like, oh, how fun is that going to be? So I'm actually going to introduce Trudy first, who is her sister, joined Isagenix after her, but she has only really been with Isagenix, you guys, since February of 2015. She's a 7-star Crystal Executive, 7-star Golden Circle. Is that right?
Well, I'm 9-star Crystal Executive, 7-star Golden Circle.
Oh my gosh, 9-star Crystal Executive. I mean, she has created 9 executives, 7-star Golden Circle. You guys, she was just #1 in the entire company for President's Quest. She was #1 in the entire company for ISA Derby. I mean, she's a top millionaire in action. She married her high school sweetheart. They've been together 26 years, right? 26 years. They have awesome kids. She is just exploding. She comes from a background in network marketing, and I hope I'm getting this right from what I remember from Welcome Home, that you do like a TV show, right? You do something, you can tell them, in Arizona. I mean, this girl just loves people. She's had an amazing, amazing transformation. I mean, she's released over 50 pounds, fell in love with this company, fell in love with the opportunity for people, and is just skyrocketing. I mean, literally one of the top earners in the company right now. And Tanya's her sister. She's married to Jeremy. She is an Isagenix millionaire. She joined Isagenix in September 2013. She maxed out her business. She's maxed out her husband's business, and they are very close to maxing out their 3rd business center in 3 years. I mean, she is a top 10 income earner. She's been showing up in those reports with no network marketing experience, no sales experience, just someone that was absolutely lit up with these products, had a great transformation, realized what the opportunity and this freedom of striking gold with Isagenix not only did for her family, but for other people, and is just in massive, massive action. She truly, truly says that God is the center of all of this, and it's just kind of causing a ripple effect globally. So these girls have so much heart, so much love, and so much wisdom. So if you don't have a piece of paper and pen in front of you, I'd suggest you get it now. Be ready to write fast. And I'm so excited to introduce you to the call. So the first thing I would just love if you guys can both just kind of share your stories so they can get to know you with you a little bit more. And outside of your story, I would love for you both to just really answer what it was when you made that decision, like, I'm going to do this. And when you were like, get out of my way, blinders on, I'm doing this, what it was that really ignited that in you and the very first things that you did to just kind of put you into explosive momentum.
Okay, awesome. You want to go first? Sure. Okay, so I was watching this rock star for 15 months, and I did come out of a background with the Pampered Chef. I was with them for 19 years. And I also had opened a cooking school, which is why I was doing cooking segments on Arizona Midday on Channel 12. And I still do those, but I do health and wellness now, focusing on the 400 to 600 calorie meal and the other options that we offer for solutions for busy families. And so my sister kept telling me, like, you've got to look at this. Like, seriously, it's amazing. And I remember being at their house when they were doing their first cleanse. And our dad, unfortunately, had just passed away, and Tanya started Isogenics about 6 months after that. And so we had just gotten his clothes, and we were just kind of having some moments together. And I remember Jeremy coming in the living room, and he's like, I am hungry. And it was like their first cleanse day. You know how that is. You're just like getting all used to it. And I was thinking, you are out of your mind if you ever think I'm going to do this. Like, there is no way I'm going to drink a shake. No, thank you. And you guys just go on with your fat selves. Well, I sat and had the front seat, experience to their journeys, both physically and financially. And you couldn't argue with it. I mean, it's right in front of you, and you're seeing it and watching it. And I'm over here working like a dog, almost 200 pounds, miserable out of my mind. And my sister took me to lunch in October of 2014, and she just said, I'm just telling you right now, like, I don't want to leave you behind, and I love you, and I care about you, and I want you to be healthy. And seriously, like, just really consider this. And I just remember looking at her across the table. She's like super gorgeous and just beautiful. And I went that day, schlepped in like some baggy something, and my hair was all curly, and I just was a mess. But I was sitting in pride that day, and I just said, I'm so proud of what I've accomplished because I've worked so hard. And I am really grateful for that. And thank you, but no thank you. And we parted ways. And around Christmas, she brought me 6 puppy Christmas bags full of Isogenic samples. And I was not happy with her, and neither was my husband. And I was just kind of like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, we have had this conversation so many times. And I said no. And I'm the older sister, so there better be a gift card in this bag. And so there was, and I was so grateful. And I was just, I have to tell you guys, like, it makes me want to cry, like, every single time I tell this story, but that was the best gift my sister has ever given me in my whole entire life. And in January, that day I shoved them all in the closet. And in January, I was working so hard doing like double shows for my previous company because I wanted my hostesses to get all they could get. And about the 22nd, I was like exhausted, done, tired, overweight, a mess. And I remember I had a show that night, and I had been working all day getting ready for a cooking class. And I walked over to the closet, and I pulled out the chocolate shake, and I blended it in my KitchenAid blender. And it just, everything changed when I put it in my mouth. And then I felt so stupid for not like trying it, like, and talking about something that I didn't even like know what I was talking about. You know what I mean? We all do that sometimes. And so I called her. That day I went and did my show, and I wasn't hungry. I didn't go through a drive-thru that night. There was no French fries under the seat of my car. I felt amazing. And I called my sister the next day, and I said, I want to talk to you because that was really good. And she was like, wait till you see what you can put in them. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So the next day I went over, ordered my President Pack and my husband's President Pack, put it on a credit card because I didn't have $1,200 laying around. And the rest is history. Got it in my body February 2nd of 2015. Lost 11.5 pounds my first 30 days and 25.5 inches that first 30 days. Because you guys, what Lauren just said to answer the question, what made you start? Like, I was desperate. I needed this so bad. And I also want to encourage you guys with something that's so, so key, is that just keep doing what you're doing because people are watching you. Like, I was in Tanya's product page. I swear I took myself out of that page like 5 times.
She did.
And I defriended my sister on Facebook like 3 times. Let me see if I can do it. Because I was so tired of seeing this. Right? But I wanted it so bad. Like, she would like post all these cute pictures, and she's so cute. And I was just like, delete. And so, we hear that all the time, like, where, people are following you, but just keep being consistent and keep being congruent and keep doing you because people are watching you, and they're going to come back. And you may talk to them 46 times, and on that 46th time, they are ready because in their mind, it's just ready. And when I started this program, I was so in. I had first invested $1,200 and then felt terrible and was like following the shake day planner, following the cleanse day planner, and busting it out. And then I listened to everything she said to me, because she had been in this movie 15 months before me, and I knew food choppers and she knew isogenics. So I knew that like I wanted to do exactly what she was doing, and she knew that I was going to like, you know, once I caught the vision of this, that it was like, forget it, it's over. And I remember telling her, I'm still going to do shows and I'm still going to teach cooking classes. And she's like, yeah, you're funny. Because she knew what was coming and I didn't yet. And I thought I could do it all, you know, spin all those plates. Are you kidding me? Like all I have time to do is isogenics. Like I just love it so much. So I wrapped up my Pampered Chef business, wrapped up my cooking school, closed that all down, and it would just been full bore. But when I say to you that I did everything that she said, you guys, it's not hard. She said, write on your Facebook wall, I started a brand new health and wellness journey. I'm so excited. I watched my friend change her life on Facebook, and I'm so excited to change mine too. Hashtag join me, hashtag let's get healthy together. Boom. And all of a sudden I was getting all these likes and all these comments. And then she's like, okay, now you're going to put them in the product page, and you're going to tag them in the welcome video, the overall view of isogenics, and the blood video, and they're going to marinate. You're going to private message them, say thank you for liking my post. I added you to my health and wellness page so you can look around. If you're interested, I'd love to share more with you. Done. Copy, paste, you guys. And all of a sudden, you've got all these people watching you on your personal wall and in your product page. And that is how it started. And I remember like 2 weeks later, I sent her this picture because I was in a size 18. And I had lost so much already in my belly. And I literally like had a gap on my shorts, and I sent it to her, and I was like, look at this. And she said, post that picture. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? And she's like, post the picture. And I was like, okay, you know, post. That's when my business took off. Because for 2 weeks, people had been watching, like they'd been noticing because I had posted that thing, and they were all watching like, is this really real? And then when I posted the picture, everyone's like, okay, what are you doing for reals? Like, let's talk about it. And there it started to happen. And it just has just spun out of control ever since then. And it is a blast. So I'm so excited to be on this call with you guys and just share what she shared with me and what we're sharing with our teams, because it works and it's not hard.
I feel like I was like looking at my hair. It has oil because we were at the spa today.
We went to the spa today. So we're like.
Thank you, Lauren, for having us. I'm so excited just to come into all your family room and your living rooms tonight. One of the things I want to say just before I get started on mine is that you may have family that really is giving you a little bit of grief. I remember at that meeting, she goes, who wouldn't want your body and your bank account? And I just thought, you know, so many of us give up because we make it about us instead of service to other people. And so if you caught anything from that, it's that your no's mean a couple of things. No, not right now. No, I'm watching to see if you're going to fail or if you're going to stick with it. No, I'm saving, but I don't want you to know. No, I'm so stuck in my own private hell. When I'm so tired of being sick and tired, I'll reach out to you. So if you could take anything away, just to have that impact of what that really looks like, because no doesn't always mean no forever. And then a little bit about our history. I do have some network marketing experience, so I always like to just kind of talk about that a little bit. She was in another amazing cooking company for how long?
19 years.
19 years. And I dabbled in that a little bit. I dabbled in Gold Canyon Candles and another company called Southern Living at Home. And had good success, but Jeremy will tell you, my husband, our house smelled great. We had amazing cookware, and it was decorated really pretty. But he was really frustrated because it took me away from our home, and I was not paid worth my time. So I was an eyelash tech, and I had all of my clients coming in, and they were struggling in the same way. Can you do me a favor and close that? It's in my eye. They were struggling in the same way. Every single client that laid on my table talked about how they really didn't feel confident in the skin they were in. They weren't sleeping. They were struggling in this arena. And my dad had passed away. I'd had a pelvic floor surgery, so I gained about 30 pounds. I was on Facebook one day and I saw this beautiful blonde shell, blonde shell. Did I say blonde shell? That was funny. And she was up on top of a mountain and she kept talking about it being her office. And I'm not going to lie, I was intrigued. I had had so many different people come to me and talk to me about network marketing because of my just love and passion for people. And I knew if I ever had a vehicle, I felt like it would just be hands down game over if I could look at something and really see how could I be of service. But nothing had ever really resonated in that. So I picked up the phone and called Miss Tracy O'Malley, longtime family friend. She used to be a neighbor right around the corner. And listened to her, and I was like, oh my gosh. At that time, she is like just into isogenics. That was April. I was calling her in September. And she was just so excited, telling me everything. I said, thanks, but no thanks. Waited 3 months after buying a juicer. Didn't work out so well. Called her back, said I'm in. The one thing that I will tell you that resonated is she was a product of the product. And I could really get behind that. She really was just fired up and her excitement was contagious. She didn't know a lot about the products and I didn't care because her body was enough and the glow in her skin and her happiness. Like she was happy, and Trace and I have known each other for a really long time. So I could see that definitely there was something different. So I got started. She would not let me start with anything other than a president's pack because her belief was so solid in that. And I borrowed her belief even though I didn't have mine. And I don't know, for those of you who don't know, I used to teach coupon shopping to like hundreds of women. And so it was really funny because I was like, man, this is crazy to spend this much money on groceries when I was buying all the crap in the grocery store. So we got started. She showed me U+2. She showed me she was cycling 17 times at that time a week. And I was busting my tail about 35, 40 hours a week, putting on eyelash extensions. And it's very tedious for those of you who don't know. So you're sitting like this. My neck was I was just a mess. And I was locked out of about 3/4 of my closet. I teased my sister that living in Arizona, you guys all have those girdle panties at some point, if anyone hasn't. And it was like 118 degrees, and trying to hide the fact that I had extra fluff was absolutely no fun. So it was funny because people were like, oh, you've always naturally been skinny, but they didn't know the hell that I was living in because I had gained weight and I was emotionally eating from our dad passing away. Got started on the product. She showed me U+2. I said, don't want to know anything about the business. I don't want anyone to know I'm even doing it. Clients started asking, and I had the U+2 seed planted in my head. So make sure that you never rob anybody of the opportunity to know that there's a compensation plan attached to this. Because if she would have listened to me and my stubbornness, I wouldn't be here today. And that would just, what a sad thought. We just had so much stinking fun and just the lives that we've been able to be blessed to serve and make an impact. I would go back to her and say, hey, can you give me a little bit more information? And she would forward speak my goals as if I'd already attained them. I remember her saying to me, I know that this is going to just be a runaway train for her. And I borrowed for us, and I borrowed her belief and kind of ran with it. That was the point. It was day 4 when I slept. And just to know that this was so congruent and consistent with who Jeremy and I are as people, and the an art of service to other people, that this was just going to be a game changer.
Aw, you guys are amazing. I know you guys are already like fired up. You want to get off this call so you can go call other people, I'm sure. Do that in like 40 more minutes. Okay, so I'm going to just ask some questions that I think would be helpful for them. And if you guys want to tag team them, or you feel like someone should take one and do the other, like whatever you think is best. I know you guys work well together and kind of know, who's the best at it. But when you were first getting started, and I think that there was a period where maybe you went to an event and you believed in the company, or you saw the vision, or you knew the products were working, but you weren't necessarily sure if you could manage people. Like, oh my gosh, do I really want to be responsible for these people? Or where you were super excited, there was doubt because you probably were having more skeptics than people joining you, more people kind of questioning, going, what are they doing now? What was it that really helped you propel forward to kind of push through all those barriers, like put your blinders on and just commit to running your race? Even in the beginning, like Jimmy Smith always says, the only people that don't make it in network marketing are the ones that quit or never get started. I feel like people get so excited right away, but they quit within the first 90 days maybe 6 months because it doesn't happen fast enough. Like, what was it that made you guys just say you were going to be relentless? Like, regardless if you made $10,000 in the first 6 months, $10, $100,000, like, you were going to do this no matter what, and you believed in it.
I think we both completely agree, because as soon as she started, I was like, listen, we're going to do an event. I didn't even know what a launch party was when I started with Tracy. I just wanted to open our house, because I was getting inundated with people asking what it was that we were doing. I was having like moms chase me across the softball field, but all trying to figure out what it was, because I had changed so drastically. And so I can speak that we were having something, I called them an open house before we even like actually knew what they were. And there was a period where I was really struggling with leadership development. And we put the 2 and 2 together. It's so important, you guys, whether you are financially linked with a leader or not, if you have questions and you're willing to be coachable, to always reach out to that leader. I reached out to Brent and Sammy Gaston from Australia, and he said, walk me through how you're doing the presentation. Well, my past and history is speaking, and so I could rock a room in the presentation, but I didn't have that belief in building leaders, because people would continually say, I can't do what you do. I'll just bring the people to your house. You do it. I'll enroll them, and then I can help cleanse coach them. So for me, it was having the knowledge that I can't be everything and do everything. I need to teach duplicity and use the tools. And we started using an ISA movie in our presentation. So when Trudy started, I knew that we had to, we made a commitment. We were doing open house events every month. And then when my sister started, she's a chef, and tasting things was a really big deal for her. And so it really opened my eyes. And as leadership, you have to be ever evolving and be willing to not know it all. And so I was like, well, let's taste. She's like, let's taste the shakes. I said, okay, let's get an event put together. Her first event, she had like 35 women in my upstairs loft. We showed the Jill birth video. A lot of them were really interested in weight loss. And I think you had 100% enrollment rate from that event.
Awesome.
So that was for me, letting go of pride, letting go of ego, knowing that this isn't this isn't how great are your skills, how much can you help other people really find what their skills are, and then bringing them all together. So I have a skill set, all the other different leaders have amazing skill sets. And the beauty of this is when you are willing to grow as a person, your paycheck will grow, because you're willing to look outside of yourself and really say, I'm a small part of the equation. How can I do this with everyone else? And I was stubborn. I didn't go to my first Isogenics event for, I want to say I started September. I didn't go to my first event until the following July, and it was an ICU in Seattle. And again, I think that coming in leadership, having that speaking, I was like, oh, I don't want to go to an event. It's a whole bunch of hype. Like, that's a waste of money. We're already having great success. Why would I need to go to an event? Oh my gosh. I saw Kyle and the Crash share and connecting, and I bawled. And I did not sit by one person who was a stranger to me. They were all so loving, and it just blew my mind that people that didn't even know me could totally just strike up a conversation. So, you want to add?
And I would say that events do change everything. I remember, so I started in February, and Tanya was like, okay, you're going to go to Celebration. So, and she was so good about, and we're sisters, too. So she knew that I was, trying to do a transformation physically, trying to learn this new business, trying to wrap up my other businesses. And so she's like, okay, you're going to Celebration. I'm like, okay, what's that? And then, she got our hotel room. She just was a little in front of me all the time, helping me know what was next. And then she was like, okay, you're going to be on the derby team with me. And I'm like, what's that? I don't even know what that is, but okay. And so we just I literally, we were attached at the hip for 12 months, literally. I just, whatever I could just get, and I just loved. And then I started developing my own leadership and my own, because I'm a strong leader, and we both have a lot of similar strengths. But until I learned it, I was very coachable, and still am coachable. I still talk to her about stuff and ask for things, because we're both, working together. And, there was a time where we started something, and then we kind of separated, and I was growing my leaders, and she was continuing to run with her leaders. And now it's exciting to maybe come back together this next year and like do some big events together and stuff. So it's just been real awesome. And so events do change everything. So if you're not going to Celebration, do whatever it takes. Like, shove everyone in a hotel room. Who cares? You're not even going to barely be in there. Like, wash your pits and put on some lip gloss, and who cares? Like, be at the events, because they do change everything. And, you know, when you're serious about this business, you need to listen, and you need to go to things that are provided, and you need to be all in and take notes and apply those notes. You guys, because I keep saying it, this is not hard. It is not hard. And if you need to develop as a person, read a personal development book, do Healthy Mind and Body, do the Ice of Body Challenge, go to every event, host health and wellness events. Like, that's what we call them now. We stopped calling them open houses because people thought they could just come and go. I'm like, oh, no. We start now and we end now. So we've just evolved and developed and made those better, like constantly better. We're just always making it better.
And I shared with her about just the coachable piece. But you guys, you have to understand this. She is my older sister. She has exponential, just experience in network marketing. And so could you imagine for people that you just want to strangle because you're like, if you would just listen, like you would get it. And I just have to give her mad props because she's just so much so. And then now I'm going to her and being like, okay, how are you doing this? Because I need some insight. Or, maybe I'm feeling stagnant in an area. So it's really fun just to be continually open as leaders to growing, because there's so many ways to build an isogenics business.
Yeah, totally. And I think communication is key. Like, just knowing each other's strengths, whoever your leader is. Like, we just happen to be blessed that we're sisters. But we also have to work on our communication, and we have to work on what her strengths are and what my strengths are, and how to blend those together really beautifully. We like to say #sisters on a mission. And that's super awesome, and we're super blessed, and we don't take that for granted. But we just sit down and we plan and we talk and we run things by each other and we listen. Being a good listener is very key. And someone told me that yesterday. Someone I just enrolled and I was coaching last night. She goes, "You are such a good listener." Because I would bring things up that she said, and she was like, "I didn't even know that you knew that I said that." And I was like, well, part of loving people is listening really closely. So there you go on that.
You guys are amazing. I have a question for each of you individually. But Trudy, I would love, 9 executives. That's impressive. You're creating an executive a month at that rate, there's a lot of people here that have gone executive or are close, but have not necessarily duplicated. So if you could either 3 action steps or the best way that you think, this is what I'm doing. And if you really want to develop people and rank advance your team, this would be my recommendation. And Tanya, I think one of the things that inspires me the most, Cindy Hedges and I chat about this with you, is just really the community that you've created, the trust, the support, kind of what you're doing at your executive weekly, business meetings, and just what you've done to really elevate people, lift each other up in the way that I believe you have such retention because of that I would love for you to kind of chat a little bit about how you've built such a strong community and locally and how that's impacted your business.
Okay. No, you ahead. Okay. So I was really thankful for the reset, which was really awesome because a lot of people ran for that. But one thing, another thing that Tanya and I developed together was called the Fast Track to Executive Program. And we just both put our heads together and we just ran with that. And that was awesome for both of our businesses. And we met weekly for a 6 or 12 week stint. And it was belly to belly, and we were just teaching the basics, using the 90-day game plan and busting it out. And it was really, really powerful. I think, too, one of the things that I always say when we're training or doing that kind of stuff is I tell everyone, I want you to picture yourself in the front of this room, because this will be you someday, and you'll be teaching your team, and then they'll be in the front of the room. And it just is this awesome duplication process, because we're not going to be in the front of the room all the time. We want our leaders to be in the front of the room, because that's what this is about. It's about developing leaders, empowering people. And so I say that every time I'm in the front of the room, because it's so, so, so important. Yes, totally. And then another thing that I did start doing is shadow days. Because I just felt like that was really important. I kept having people say to me, "Can we just come to your house? Can we just listen to your phone calls? Can we just watch you work? Can we ride around in the car with you?" And I thought, well, there must be something to that. So I had my assistant make a schedule, And people just signed up for them, and I would do 3 or 4 at a time. And those were powerful. And I would teach them how to, reach out to their cold market, how to power a post, and all those kinds of things. We did before and after pictures, and taught them how to really take a good before and after picture, because those are changing lives and their money in the bank. And if they're not powerful and they're not right, they're not going to work. So that was huge. And then this last time when we've just rank advanced all these executives, I put this big poster board in my office, and I put everybody's name that was a director in my whole downline. And we just made a thread for them on Facebook and said July 13th, when the reset date. And we just started working individually with them, and the ones that super wanted it. And I would do weekly calls. I would do Zoom calls. I would do 3-way calls, like crazy, to help edify and third-party validate what they were doing, and just constant with them, helping them, just available to them. And they did it. They totally did it, but it was just with the support of what we were offering and doing, and speed of the leader, speed of the pack. I wasn't telling them to do something that I wasn't doing already. And so they were just following suit because it was duplicatable. So that was huge. And then rejoicing and getting excited with everyone within the thread. Yeah, I did it. I got 7. Okay, well, now I lost 2, but I'm still going for it, And then when somebody would rank advance, it was like, oh my gosh. So it was like that iron, rubbing iron and making people better. And it just happened. And we are just super grateful. And it's not magic. I just have a really amazing team that really, really wanted it bad. And I just showed them the tracks to run on and all the benefits that would be coming to them. And they didn't want to miss out.
I think one of the things that we talk about in community too is forward speaking. Mm-hmm. So I always say, when you're a walking billboard, and you will be, you have 2 choices. You can either refer them to me and I will take the best care of them, or you can totally rock out premium groceries for yourself. Nobody's going to give you their person, but it's fun to say it. And just have an opportunity just to, it releases them. Because if you put pressure on someone, they're like, oh my gosh, and she said this and I better do this. So I'm like, don't do it or don't do it. But people have a natural competitive edge. So I like that. And that's the same in the kind of the community, is really finding what skill set. You guys, we are made, God made us of people to be in community. We were not made to ever do life alone. And so if you really thought about that, if you really captured that and held on to it, hosting events in our home was hysterical, because we started out with 25, 30 people at our first open house. It grew, and we made a commitment every month. So I would have people who were marinating in the product page, or maybe someone who wasn't in there that I just had friended, and they were like, hey, when are you doing that thing at your house? I want to come to the next one. I've been talking to my husband. They had no idea what it was, but they wanted to come because the pictures were fear of missing out. Mm-hmm. We had people dripped down our stairs. And adding the tasting to it, where you could actually taste the products. It was funny because one time we had 115 people. So after Trudy joined in, it was some of her team members, some of our team members. We hosted one upstairs and then one in the room in the back. These were free events. It cost us dollars to make the shakes, and you really had to change your mindset. It also showed our commitment that we weren't going anywhere, that we believed in these leaders. We would stay up and have conversations, help them enroll. And then when we started our home renovation, we thought, let's dream bigger. How can we do this on a grander scale? So I wanted to take the fast track from the 6 weeks to the full 13 weeks for the 90-day Gain Challenge. We moved to a local venue. And, here's one thing you need to understand when you're thinking about investing in your Isogenics business. Most people have to invest in a brick and mortar. It's real boring. It's like staplers and, copy and paper and things like that. We can invest in people. And so looking at what that would look like over a grander scheme, and also empowering leadership to stand up and share their story. It was funny, I had a gal who was just sick to her stomach to share her journey, her 30-second story. I continually called on her on purpose, intentionally. And I watched from Prescott when Jeremy and I were picking up our son from camp. They did a live Zoom in their health and wellness event, and she crushed it. And I was crying. I was crying, cheering all the way from Prescott. So you give people a platform and an opportunity. And then we had an absolute blast. We took the Freedom Executives, which is all the directors and executives, and we said, hey, we're going to go paddleboarding down the Salt River. And what I heard back from leadership was, Tanya, we had such a great time. It was so nice. I had such a different impression of so-and-so, and I really got to connect. Or, man, that was so fun just doing things as a community and really loving and supporting each other, not necessarily building an Isogenics business in that section. Bless you. Oh, I thought she was sneezing. But to really just lean in and get to know each other on a deeper level. We did a Bible study. We did a Bethmore Bible study. It was empowering to get to know some of these leaders on a deeper aspect and really get to like their belly, like some things that they had been maybe carrying, and just love on them and help them navigate through what that is. And, you know, I was talking with Rod Harrison a couple of months ago before I started one-on-one training with him. And he said to me, what do you think makes you more successful than just, you know, someone who started Isogenics maybe 10 years ago? And I said, well, I really don't know how to answer that, because I don't look at it based on numbers or a title or a ranking. I base it on how much can I help someone grow from the time that they start and open a freedom account with Isogenics. Yeah, their health freedom is huge, but how can you help pour into growing a person? We just finished our top 50 with Rod Harrison this weekend, and to see, we had so many couples. I'm very passionate about building a business with couples. So really driving the fact that, you know, how do you best support your spouse, and what are the roles that you can play, and how do you find your gifts and your spiritual gifts, how do you contribute? What's your level of contribution into it? And to see these men just share their hearts and their level of contribution and how they could support their spouse, it just made Jeremy and I heart just totally smile, knowing this is so much more than Shakes and Cleanse. We just have a fantastic vehicle to really make an impact on people's health freedom, their financial freedom, and their marriages. So it was really, really special.
Mm-hmm. You gals are so amazing. You can feel your passion like through the screen. I can't wait to spend more time with you, Trudy. Selfishly, I'll come back and I can tell them all these things I learned. When we did the call on Saturday, I know it was great because you guys are both amazing connectors, both in your warm market and your cold market. Could you both share, because a lot of people right now are still really building off Facebook, like they either are comfortable reaching out to their warm market, or I feel like when they can connect in the cold market, they're like a little bit like, oh, I'd love to introduce this to you. And they're not as reserved as maybe you would anticipate because they're less attached to the outcome. But a lot of these people are really wanting to reach out to their Facebook group, people that have not necessarily liked anything, to people that have not necessarily commented, but they're seeing their newsfeed going, wow, I know Isogenics would really help them. Or, wow, I really want this person to be a board of director in my organization, or whatever that may be. How would both of you coach this group to reach out via Facebook on Messenger in ways that you're not verbal vomiting, you know, that you're complimenting someone and really just kind of introducing it to them or getting them to get on the phone? Like the majority of the people on here every single day are like, no one's responding to me on Facebook. No one's responding to me on Facebook.
I would say reframe what you're saying. And you may sound that sounds crazy, but the team is really funny, because even before I met Rod, I was like, reframe that. And they'd look at me like, what? Because when you're speaking it, you're listening to you. So make sure, I started saying to myself, you know what, my name is Tanya Kirkpatrick, and I know what it is to do hard things. I've walked through great loss and very hardships in my life. Mm-hmm. And this is not hard. So make sure before you define something as hard, you really hold yourself accountable. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I would say to you is, if you had the answer, how many of you guys have seen Willy Wonka? Show me your hands. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Anybody? Like, right? So if you haven't, hopefully you'll get this. But I always say to them, if you had a Willy Wonka golden ticket in your hand, and you knew that it would totally make an epic impact in someone else's life, why is it that you're getting in the way of sharing that? Because at that point, you're making it about you. And so here's some different ideas of how to get started. And Trudy is a mastermind genius at this. But living your life out loud, so not putting Isogenics on your Facebook wall, but just product placement, right? And then I introduce a lot of people to Isogenics, believe it or not, sleep spray. How many of you guys use sleep spray? Anybody? Yeah, I'm saying it's $12.95. It's the best investment ever. I remember making, when I was a lash client, making people bedtime belly busters. So how many times do you hear people talk about being tired on Facebook? I felt like an ISA drug dealer. I would put like 5 belly busters together in those little sandwich bags. And
Tell them how you did that. She just bought a thing of Isopro and got the snack bags and put 2 scoops of Isopro in those snack bags.
And a scoop of Orange Replenish because it tastes like a
Brilliant.
And then
brilliant.
You're brilliant. And then I would give that to them, and that actually helped them sleep. And then I'd introduce them to the sleep spray and say, if you had a great experience with that, are you ready? Because the President's Pack, you think you're sleeping well now, just wait. I keep sleep sprays with me when I'm out and about shopping. We also keep shots, like the e-shots, so you can share the shot. I cleanse in public. I absolutely love it. I'm meeting with the gal from Restoration Hardware on Thursday, and we're opening her account with the President's Pack because Jeremy and I happened to be cleansing when we went and bought our furniture. Being strategic and on purpose. I think so many people are like, oh my gosh, I want this so bad. You have no idea. And I'm like, awesome. How many Facebook friends do you have? They're like 275. I'm like, great. Go through and make an entire list of your Facebook friends. And there is software out there that if you Google, because you can find anything. I taught myself how to use PowerPoint. It was real scary. It took me 4 hours to even figure out how to input a picture because I am not good at IT. And it wasn't hard because my name is Tanya and I can do hard things, and that was not hard. It was frustrating as heck, but it was not hard. So figure out how you can download that, make a list, be strategic, intentional, on purpose, and start making a follow-up list. You guys, it takes 8 to 12 times to have a yes happen. It takes 8 to 12 times. And if you just simply sent a message and said, hey, I saw that you really were struggling, you're not feeling so great, I want to just ask, can I drop a little goodie bag over? I'm going to drop it on your doorstep. You guys don't have to be home. I'm going to follow up with you in a couple of days, and I just want to touch base with you. Would that be okay? And I also think about managing expectations. If you give shake samples, make sure you let them know it has 8 grams of fiber. So if they feel arty-farty or they feel a little bloated, it's because they're not used to getting the fiber. And, forward think there and manage expectations. It's really big. But when you talk to someone, be confident. My goodness, we're sitting on something that no one else in the industry even comes close to having. Mm-hmm. So be confident. That matters. And if you're telling yourself, I keep getting no's, it's not working, you're going to keep finding the no's. Look at it as, my sister and I were talking about this. Our dad was an epic fisherman. And I think about Isogenics as casting out a pole with a really fun, amazing bait that is life transforming, both physically and financially. You cast it out into a sea of endless possibilities. So if you had that mindset, if you had the unstoppable mindset and that you're just going to hook a squiggly little awesome bait on the end of it, which happens to be your time, your love, your attention, but it smells really good, it looks really good. Think about sensory and how you're talking to people, making sure you're hitting those 5 sensories of taste, touch. How is it going to make them feel? Listening, like my sister said, listening to listen. We listen to respond all the time. So listen to listen, and then regurgitate that back and forward speaking their goals. She's going to probably walk you through this really cool Facebook scanning thing. You want to share that?
Yes, I'm going to show you this. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Tanya and I are going to do it on our phone and teach you. But I also want to tell you a couple things about, just to follow up what she said. What you focus on, you find. And, there's things that we hear in this business all the time that Tanya would say to me, and it didn't make any sense. And I was like, I don't get it, but I'm okay. I'm listening. Be duplicatable. Focus on what you find. Don't worry about the no, and what she said earlier, what the no really means. Don't take anything personally, you guys, because it's not about you. And she used to say that to me all the time, and I just I wanted to punch her in the face. And she used to always say, take the emotion out of it. And I really wanted to punch her in the face. But you know what? It's so true. If you send someone a message and you see the little head drop and they don't respond and there's crickets, how many times have you written a message or have gotten a message and the little face dropped down and you didn't have time to answer it right then? You might have been driving. You might have been in the checkout. You might have been doing something that you just couldn't get back to it right then, that second. And that's okay. Give people grace. okay? Because they might be crazy busy just like you are, and they saw it, but they just didn't answer right then. That's okay. I heard Jessica Rigner say the most amazing thing at ICU in New Jersey. It was so amazing. She said she sat down one day and she wrote a message. Like, you know, we're always fishing for people on Facebook to follow us. We add value. We do an awesome job branding our Facebook walls. Neither one of us accept a lot of friendships because you can just follow us because we're saving those spots for prospects. Not because we don't love you and not because we don't want to be your friend, but just because those are for prospecting. And we get 5,000 of those. So remember that. And Tanya told me that too. Like, you don't want to be friends with a bunch of Isogenics people because you want to save those spaces. So Jessica Rigner said that she sat down one day and she said, "Hi, I'm so excited to just talk to you." And she would send these private messages to everyone on Facebook that she was friends with. And she just said, you know, I don't know if you've been watching our journey, but I just had to message you and let you know this has changed our life so drastically, not only physically, but financially. And because we're friends, I would love to talk to you about this and share it with you. So let me know if there's a good day, what's your cell phone number, the best time to reach you. Love, Jessica. And do you guys know that she got a lot of crickets. She didn't hear a lot of things back. But 2 years later, a gentleman contacted her and said, "My wife lost her job and we got your message 2 years ago and we've continued to watch you on Facebook." And that lady is an Isogenics millionaire on Jessica's team. So when you say, "I'm not hearing anything back," do not give up. Do not stop. Keep doing what you're doing. Follow people that are doing it right. Follow people that you admire and look up to. You guys are so blessed to have Lauren. I mean, she's a rock freaking star. So what a blessing to have an amazing leader. You guys, that's not normal. There's not a lot of people that have amazing leaders that really, really pour into them, and that's a big deal. And we all love each other. We love Lauren. She loves us. We all help each other. We're one team. So we do calls and we edify each other, and we're there for each other because we get it and we want to empower our teams. So remember that. I'm going to show you something right now about masterfully connecting out in public on Facebook. It's super easy. So we'll role play.
Hey, Miss Trudy, really quick, because then I think we're going to wrap it up because I know you guys have things to do, but I wanted to just share real quickly while we're talking about this Facebook thing before you show the scan code. I had the pleasure of having coffee with Deanna Falchuk this morning. She happens to be in Colorado visiting her daughter, who lives like 5 minutes from me. For those of you that don't know Deanna Falchuk, she's an Isogenics millionaire. She won President's Quest last year. She's a 7-star. I mean, she's just amazing. She is just someone that I would describe as anointed. She has adopted, I mean, I don't even know how many children, 9 children, I think, that are adopted or from third world countries. I mean, she just is the epitome of someone who contributes. But we were talking about how Facebook has changed, and Facebook with the algorithms, that it used to be, you know, you could post, everybody saw it, the likes, the comments, and that people got so dependent on being able to put up a post and generate leads that they've lost the foundation of truly what network marketing is about, which is the connecting, the listening, the asking the questions, you know, and understanding that we have to put in the work. And a lot of people had great success, myself included, from social media, but they've lost the skills. And think about how people 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever years ago built incredible network marketing businesses before social media. I mean, I laugh about it because people tell me they're not on Facebook, and I'm thinking, like, I wouldn't know how to do this business. Like, I can't imagine a phone tree hoping that Shauna would call Miranda, that would call Keith. I mean, if I had to rely on that, like, I'd probably still be personal training, you know? But so when you're like, what do I say? What do I say? What do I say? Like, Deanna and I were both talking about this morning, that so many people are like, what do I say? What do I say? And it's really not. It's like, what are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you responding to? And that it's not about us, you know, and that if you're posting and you're showing your glamorous life and your shakes and everything, and no one's coming to you, like, go back to work on what network marketing is about and spend time scrolling the news feed, looking for people that are complaining, looking for people that are literally saying, please pray for me, XYZ, because 9 out of 10 times Isogenics has a solution that can help what they're asking for prayers for. You know, going back to like looking for people's characteristics, the people that you want to partner with, and complimenting them and figuring out how to build that relationship, that you're not just like sending an ISA movie to everybody and going, why is no one responding to me? Or I put up my before and after picture, how come no one's joined me? Because that is so detached from really, really, truly building relationships. And like everyone in this industry says, people buy things from people you know, like, and trust. And if you're willing to spend the time to not worry about making a sale, but actually building a relationship with them and caring about them and connecting them, they're going to join your business. Inevitably, they're going to join your business, you know? So Trudy, I would love for you to show them how to do that, because that was brilliant. I've used it 3 times since you taught me that on Saturday.
Thank you. I want to edify what you just said, because you're right on the money. If you don't have those skills to personally connect with people on Facebook or out and about, you can work on them. You know what I mean? Like just do it afraid. Even if you're scared to like say something. And so I'm going to role play with you what I did with a waitress, and we are talking, and we've talked a couple times that I met in Spokane. So she came up to our table, and her name was Kristen. And I said, "Hey, Kristen, do you love what you do?" And she said, because my sister doesn't know what she said.
I'm all up.
Kristen said, "I love what I do. I've been serving people for 15 years. And I said, "Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. You've just done such a great job tonight. You should do what I do." And she said, "Well, what do you do?" I mean, that's like the best question ever, or best thing to say ever. "You should do what I do." She's like, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm actually with a health and wellness company that's incredible. And I would love to add you to my page on Facebook. Are you on Facebook?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, let's connect." So we got our Facebooks. We opened up our Facebook. She opened up hers. I opened up mine, and I went to messaging. Is that the glare? Can you guys see it? In Facebook. It's really white. Anyways, like that. And then once you get to message, down, you click your private messages. And then down in the right-hand corner, you're going to see something that says me. So you connect that, and you have the scan code right there. So then up on the top, you're going to just tap your picture like so. And then up on the top of your picture, when it gets bigger, it says scan code. So then mine's going to look like this. I'm going to go over Tanya's, and we're going to instantly connect on Facebook. So that instantly connects us. And now we're in a private message together. Now what this does not instantly make you friends. This instantly puts you in a message on Facebook. So you need to say, "Hi, it was so nice meeting you," and send it, because then you are in that. If you get out of it after you've scanned, you're not connected anymore. So what I do is I scanned Kristen, and we scanned, and we were connected in the private message. And then I said, "Let's go to our Facebook profiles, Kristen, and let's go to our Facebook profile from that message, and let's add friends." And we accepted each other's friendship right there. And we've been connected. I added her to in my product page. I left her some samples. I hugged her. We've already talked once, and she's looking over some things, and we're setting up another time to talk again, because it's always following up. And it was awesome. So I used the scan code. It works really well. And to say one more thing that Lauren just said, there was a lady a couple nights ago, I was, what exactly Lauren said, scrolling on Facebook. She couldn't sleep. So I messaged her and said, "Shannon, I have a solution for you. I'd love to add you to my product page and tag you in some things." And it was about the sleep spray. So she's busy. I'm busy. We set up a call today at 2 o'clock. My sister heard me do the call. She's in another company, like not a shake company, but an oil company. And I got to tell her that their CEO is now our CEO. So that was kind of cool. But anyways, I just listened to her. She's like, "There's so many companies out there, and there's so much of this and that." And I said, "You know what? I totally understand." And I just met her where she was at. And I didn't try to be like, "But we're the best, and be this, and be that." I just listened to her. And I said, "You know what? Just tell me a little bit about you." And she shared that her husband was diabetic and just different things. So we ended the call with that she's going to look some things over on the product page, and then we're going to talk in a few days later. And she really responded to that. She didn't feel like I was like, right? But now I'm going to follow up. And you guys, if you guys don't know about this, I'm going to teach this to you, because this is the coolest thing ever. You touch your iPhone, okay, like this, and you go, "Siri, please remind me to call Tanya Kirkpatrick tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Watch this.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Do you know how amazing that is? Do you know how many calls I never miss because my cell phone is my assistant, and it pops up and reminds me that I have a phone call? Praise God. Because we talk to lots of people, okay? And the other thing, I could talk all night, but the last thing I want to tell you guys is when you are connecting on Facebook and you're in a private message and everybody wants to know how much it is, say, I'd love to share that with you. I'm running out the door to a meeting. What's your cell phone and the best time to reach you? If they don't send you their cell phone, they don't want to really know. Don't get into a battle in a private message over and over and over again, going back and forth. Don't do it. I've done it. Doesn't work. Get the number. Add them to the contacts in your phone by clicking on the number.
Joyce, I want to answer you. Google it. So Google, just type into we call it GTS, baby. It's Google that stuff. Because I don't have an Android, so I can't tell you. But if you go up to the Google bar and you say, how do I find my Facebook code in an Android, it'll totally rock it out. Because remember, this girl and this girl, we're not IT girls, but we can Google.
We just want it to work. Dang it.
You guys are awesome. I took a lot of these amazing people who are actually on here to Mexico last week for an incentive trip, and I can't even tell you how many times they made fun of me for the Google it. They're like, just Google it. Just Google it.
Yes, baby. Google that stuff. Well, I say stuff. My team has another word for it. We all joke.
Oh my gosh. Gals, you are absolutely amazing. I'm going to unmute, so I want you guys to just send some love and thank you. I mean, they are so busy. Their time is so valuable. This is such a treat to have them on here. So please thank them. You guys are unmuted.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You rock.
You rock. You rock. You rock.
Vegas.
You rock. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, ladies.